G'day everyone, it's CQ Explorers again. Today we're back up in the North Queensland Goldfields. Bit of a rough run coming in. The tracks are really badly rutted and there's a lot of washaways in the creeks, but we got here. We just parked the Land Rover in the creek there because the places, the grass this year is, although there's been a lot of rain, so the grass is pretty high. But what we're going to do, we're going to do a bit of detecting. Might detect along these creek lines, and then we might, after the lunch, we'll get the little rocker box out and we'll get some gravel and we'll wash it through there and see if we can get some gold out of the old creek. So back shortly with our first target. Well, where we've got the Land Rover parked, that's the old coach road from the coast into these old gold towns, and this is that gold bearing creek where we're parked on. But on the edge of the road here, the road heads up in that direction. As you can see, the grass is 4 or 5 feet tall up there. Mrs. NQ's just got this, it's an old iron buckle, it's probably off a bullock dray or something. Could have been part of a tie down or a bullock harness. Goes in the sand on the side of the creek. As you can see, the sand's very deep, so there's going to be a bit of wash to get through to find any fine gold, so we'll have to find a spot where there's a bit of a rock bar or try it in behind some trees or boulders. But anyway, we'll be back shortly with the next find. Well, here's the next find, just down from that piece of that D-ring, which is probably off a bullock dray. It's a horseshoe, very common find in the Goldfields, off a draft horse or something. Like I said, this is a coach crossing here, so would have been a lot of traffic just across this little creek here back in the 1870s, 1880s. So we'll just keep heading up and down this creek and see what relics we can get, because the grass on the banks is fairly deep and it's probably too deep to detect, so we'll just stay in the creek lines. Back shortly. Well, we tried up on the banks, and there's an old miner's homestead lease here where we've found quite a few coins over the years, but the grass is so deep it's just completely undetectable. So Mrs. NQ is going to work along this creek line with the AT Pro, see if she might find a little nugget amongst the rocks, and I'll get the rocker box out. We'll start shoveling some gravel and see if we can get some fine gravel out of it. Okay, back short. Okay, well, I've just set up a net next to this little water hole here, and Mrs. NQ's just called out she's found a coin in the creek, so we'll go down and see what that's going to be. Hopefully it'll be a Victorian or an Edwardian coin. Like I said, we found Chinese coins and Victorian coins up in this area, but as you can see, the grass is 4 to 5 feet tall. She's down here in the creek. Oh yeah. What's that? What are you getting in the AT Pro? Looks like a beautiful old silver sixpence. Oh, it could be a shilling. It's pretty large. You pick it up and have a look at it. Put in wash. I think it's a shilling, is it? Yes, it's a shilling.
Shilling.
How old? Have a look at it. Oh, look at that. We've got a young head Victoria. What a find. Okay, I'll just I'll give it a real. That's a lovely old shilling from the gold rush. It's quite worn, but I'll be back shortly with a date. You can probably see it there anyway, but what a great find in the creek. We were looking for maybe a couple of little nuggets, but there you go, look at that. An old timer's dropped a shilling while he's been panning this creek. Back shortly. Well, that's a sensational start to the day. It's an 1877 Queen Victoria shilling. This year's young Victoria, quite worn, but 1877, this goldfield was discovered in 1876, so this coin, though worn, was probably dropped in the 1880s or something, who knows, but there you go, an old silver shilling in the creek line. So we'll keep hunting this creek. There's probably some more bits and pieces dropped by the old timers when they were panning and working in this creek with the rocker box, so back short. Okay, we're back at the rocker box after the shilling excitement. So I've got the rocker box, got a couple of small shovels, I've got a gold pan to pan off the tailings. What I'll do now, I'll fill a little bucket with gravel and we'll start working it through the rocker. So we'll be back short with a bit of gravel going through the rocker box. Okay, well, this creek here, I've got quite a bit of fine gold out of this creek in the past with the rocker box. What I've found, you've got a lot of cobbly wash, which can be quite deep, but in the past what we've discovered is on the fringes of the main channel, you get a false bottom. There's a dark grey clay, and the fine gold doesn't go any further than the clay. So you're not on bedrock when this a black grey clay that's really sticky. So I've got some in the bucket here. Doesn't look too attractive, but that's the first load I'm going to put through the rocker box, and we'll see how we go with that. See if we get any little pieces out of that, and if we do, we'll keep working that bank over there where you can see I've got the shovel. There's a tiny tributary comes out here, and the logic is that the big creek may drop a bit of gold into this little bank here, so like it's been dropping those boulders around these old trees and things, so we'll try that. If this is no good, we'll try another spot in the creek, so I'll back shortly. Okay, Mrs. NQ, the AT Pro has come up with something else here, just near that shilling. It looks like it may have been part of an old badge, and it's got actually gilt. You can see the gilt on it there. It's quite a bit of it actually, and on the back. It's still got the gilt on it. It's been attached to something. A bit of costume jewellery. We find quite a bit of that costume jewellery from the late 1800s up here. I'll clean that properly, but very carefully, because the gilt's actually coming off on my fingers as I'm talking. So I'll come back with some information on this, or I'll subtitle anything we can find out about this item. Back shortly. Just put a bit of wash through here. It's not too bad, this stuff. It's fairly sandy, so it goes through the rocker box fairly well. It takes a little while to just get the angle right on the box, because if it's too steep you lose your fine gold. It runs over the riffles, because the riffles are just they won't hold it against the flow of the water, so you just got to take the water flow nice and steady and keep the angle right, or you will lose gold. See that way that hopper's vibrating there, and it's shaking the gold, hopefully the gold bearing material back through the angled plate and then onto the main riffles. Okay, we'll just keep working that. Get a bit of quartz out of there too, so it's all good. You can see this black clay, grey clay. But this is the stuff that I was talking about with the false bottom, and often you get the fine gold is actually embedded in this stuff. I've actually got an old tin gold pan I found up here. I should have bought that, made it really authentic. But I've got a big, I've got a Garrett plastic pan there to take off the pan off the residue. This is pretty quick with it. You can do this a lot quicker with two people, but by yourself it's quite manageable. Okay, I'll just keep processing this bucket of material. I'll do a couple of buckets on this, and then we'll do a little quick clean up and see what we come up with, and see if we get any gold out of that little bank over there. Okay, we'll be back. You can hear that AT Pro dinging down the creek. Hopefully it's another coin. Okay, so we've put that one bucket of this little bit of wash there, this clay wash through the rocker. More or less a prospecting sort of thing. I'll just see if there's anything in this particular spot, otherwise we'll just try to go down the creek further and find a rock bar we can work. So there's the oversize left in the hopper. As you can see, there's the larger particles are left on the upper mat, and all the fines have come down onto the lower mat. So I'll wash all this out in the wash up bucket now, and hopefully we might have one or two tiny little pieces of gold in there. Let's get back into it, and we'll be back shortly with what we found. Okay, back with the wash up. Got a bucket of water out of the creek. As you can appreciate, this area, we haven't had a really big wet season, and it will dry up this year. This will be significantly drier in just a few weeks, so these water holes don't last long. So wet processing is not really an option later in the year. You've got to go to a dry blower, which I haven't got, or you can dry pan it. But anyway, we'll wash up this rocker box now. Let's come over here and we'll take her apart, and we'll wash it in that white bucket. Okay, this is the this upper hopper. Inspect that to see if you've got any pieces stuck in there. Doesn't look like it. And then I'll take the mat out and we'll wash them both in the bucket over here. So there's the upper hopper. As you can see with that snake wire on it, I think you might have seen that previous video I did on this. So I'll just dump that in the water there. We'll wash him up. And now I'll come back in shortly with the carpet out of the base, and then we'll pan out the residue. As you can see, I've actually taken the entire rocker box off the cradle, which that way I don't lose any of the fine stuff on the. When I remove the carpet, I do it in the bucket of water. I just clean these ripples by hand. Just rinse the carpet down, Now I'll pull the carpet out and I'll wash the carpet off in the water, and then I'll pan off what's in the base of that bucket. It'll be all the fine black sand and hopefully a bit of gold, so we'll have a go at that. Well, here's my pan of fines out of that first rocker box bucket. That was out of one bucket, so there's a bit of black sand in that in there, so I'll just go down in the water hole in front of us here, pan it off, and we'll see what we come up with. Back shortly. Yeah, like I said, it's a real luxury having water out here. It's great. So what I'll do, I'll just get the light stuff out of this, and there might be nothing in this. I mean, I haven't put much effort into this yet. One bucket load. You've got to process a lot of gravel, obviously, but basically just prospecting to see if this actual position I'm in is worth persevering with. If not, we'll just move down the creek further. It's all good fun. Doesn't matter if you don't find anything. It's just great to be out. Okay, well, I'll just keep panning this down, then I'll come back shortly with what I can get out of the bottom of that pan. Okay, Mrs. NQ with this AT Pro. You can see the Land Rover parked up there on that creek, the old coach crossing. There, I've got the rocker box looking for that gold up in that area between here and the car. Mrs. NQ's just come up with another coin. Now this is what she's detecting in this cobbly gravel. It's in the base of the creek again where she got that last shilling. Looks like she may have got an old penny. What's that ringing? 75. 75 solid. Here we go, look. Beautiful old English penny. That is in magic condition. Looks like a Jubilee, it was an old head Victoria. Check the date on it. Just give it a wash. 2 coins out of the creek. How good is that? Shows you how much activity was in this area. And there's been 130 years of floods coming in this creek, and these coins are still here, so they don't move very far.
No, I can't find the date.
Okay, well we'll just we'll get the magnifier out and we'll just check the date on that beautiful old English penny. It'll probably be in 1890s by the look of the. I think it's an old head, a veiled head Victoria.
No.
Back shortly. Well, as that penny we just got with the AT Pro, I think it's 1902. It's 01 or 02. I haven't got the magnifier with me, but we'll check. It's a veiled head Victoria. So that's fantastic hunting by Mrs. NQ to get 2 old coins out of this creek line in this cobbly bouldery creek. So. Just shows you how much activity was here downstream of that coach crossing. So on we go. Well, here's my pan of residue from that first prospect. No gold in there, just black sand. But that doesn't mean there isn't more gold nearby. This creek is a lot of fine gold in this creek, so I've just got to find a good spot where it's been deposited. So I'll keep continuing with these buckets of wash in the rocker box, and hopefully I'll come back and might have a bit of fine gold to take home with us. So back later. Okay, Miss NQ just called me over. She's got another good signal ringing up high 50s on the AT Pro. Sort of a mid-tone, but that could be good fine. So we're just she's picking cherry picking the good targets out of this creek with the AT Pro. So we'll be back shortly with this target. Okay, that target's out of the hole. It's sort of dropped down to the low 50s now, and may not be a coin, but could be a bit of scrap iron, or who knows what it is. Not likely to be iron with a conductivity of 50, but. There's no pro pointer today. The battery apparently was flat and there was no spares in the car for some reason. This seems to happen on a regular basis. It's still getting the target, still in that little malachite she's created in the creek bank. We're just down off the side of the creek there from that miner's homestead lease. Like I said, years back we found quite a lot of Chinese coins, Chinese artefacts. Oh, it's a lovely old brass button. An old miner's brass button. What a ripper. Well, that'll have a maker's name on it, and we'll subtitle the name. That's a lovely old find from the old timers, a brass button. Okay, back with the next target shortly. Okay, third bucket. I've got one tiny little piece of gold. You can see it there, or maybe you can't. I'll point it out with the stick. There it is. There. It's 0.000001 of a gram, perhaps. And there's probably been about 30 kilos of gravel to get that. No, but actually that piece came from a different location. Further down the creek I found a a slate rock bar. Its orientation is not really favourable to trapping gold, but it went deep down in the rock bar, probably 4 or 5 shovelfuls, and I got a piece of gold out of it like that. So I want to go back down there and get another couple of buckets and see if we can get some more. So that's one fragment of gold. So Mrs. NQ's cleaning up on the coins, and we've finally got a little piece of gold to take home. Righto, back shortly. Well, this is where I'm getting a couple of little pieces now out of this. There's a slate bar. It's sort of running, it's not really favourable to trapping gold. It's actually running downstream at an angle, but it's enough to get the little pieces deep down and out of the bottom of the crevice, which is underwater, sort of digging it blind. I'm getting that sticky grey clay, which tends to trap the gold just above the base of the slate bedrock. So I'll just keep working on this little area here, and we might get a few more little pieces. I don't think we're going to get rich, but anyway, we're having a bit of fun. Never mind, on we go. Well, Mrs. NQ with another great find. Check this out. An old spur. Actually, that's in really good condition. It's real old timer spur, that one. What a beauty. That's hardly any rust on it at all. Looks like it's been, yeah, no, that's in really good nick. It's obviously been protected from, in the sandy soil, it's protected from corrosion. So there's an old spur from the Goldfields. Good one. On we go. Okay, well, I'm getting to find gold now out of that crevice. You can see this representative, that piece there, of the size of the gold that I'm getting. I'm definitely not going to get a rich, but that's not the point of the exercise. It's just being out here. So this is great. That's probably a little, every half a bucket, maybe 10 or 15 kilos, I'll get a little speck of gold like that. So obviously it's not a major deposit of gold, but just shows you how much gold's in this creek, because the fine gold is just right through all the stratum. So, you know, it's worth having a bit of a play around with the pan. It's always a bit of fun. So anyway, I'll just keep digging gold and see if we can come up with enough that's visible to the naked eye. Back shortly. Okay, Mr. NQ's got a lovely 7980 here in this rock crevice. So we're on the other side of the creek now to where she got those the shilling and the penny, and where I'm working the rocker box. So she called me over to see what's going to come out of this hole. So we'll just keep digging there, and I'll be back with the when we get it out of the hole. Back shortly. Oh, sorry, I cut that off. It's actually a saddle, one of those saddle badges that you often get up here. They're studded onto the leather saddles. Often they have a little picture on them or a maker's name. This one looks plain, just a diamond-shaped thing. That's definitely a Goldfields relic. You can see where it's been attached to the saddle there. Good one. So onto the riding gear, we've got a spur and a saddle badge. So clearly the old coach trail, there's a lot of activity around here, so we'll keep working up and down the sides of these creeks where it's possible to work away from the grass. Well, this is the slate bar I'm getting the fine gold out of. Haven't got a real lot yet, half a dozen pieces, but you never know, there might be a grain of rice in there waiting for me. It's just down in here. I can feel with the shovel, there's the rock, I can feel the bedrock, and on top of it, this wash, and there's that grey clay comes up with it occasionally, and that's where the fine gold seems to stick into that grey clay. So I've just been shoveling out this crevice. Obviously this sort of stuff's easier in the dry season, but then you haven't got any water to cradle it, so see that clay coming up with it there. This stuff here, that seems to be the stuff that's got the gold in it. It's like a gluey grey clay that sits in the bottom of the crevices. But anyway, I'll just keep working this, and hopefully Mrs. NQ's getting some coins and a few more relics over there. She's having a good day on the ET Pro, so it's all good. Right, I'll go keep digging this crevice, and we'll go back up to the box and then run this load through. Well, Mrs. NQ's picked up another lovely old Goldfields relic with the AT Pro. Have a look at that in the hole. It's an old Goldfields teaspoon, decorative teaspoon. Beautiful. That may be silver. It'll be hallmark for sure. That's one of those real 1880s, 1870s spoons. That's in lovely condition. It's a very solid item too. What was it ringing up?
50.
In the 50s. But of course the conductivity varies between the handle and the bowl, so the detector won't give a consistent signal on that, I guess. Good one. Okay, we'll give it a clean. Hopefully it isn't scratched, and we'll get a hallmark off it, and I'll subtitle that hallmark. Back later. Well, here's another Mrs. NQ find. Given this large Chinese population in this area during the gold rush. That may be some sort of opium implement. It's very finely made brass with rings, decorative ring around each end. That may have something to do with opium, because we found a few opium implements and that things over the years up here. There were opium dens, of course, and wherever the Chinese were. So it may be something to do with the opium trade. So that's a good find, nice piece of copper. I'll magnify it and we'll see if there's any writing on it, any Chinese characters or anything, but that's a great find. Okay, on to the Well, I thought I'd come up here and give you some idea where we've been hunting today. Fortunately, the bugs are going to hassle me again. They love the shiny lands. But anyway, you see the Land Rover down there in the creek, and that's the creek where I've been getting that fine gold with the rocker box. And that cleared area over there is that old miner's homestead lease, where over the years we've found a lot of old Chinese artefacts, coins, and the creek line down there where Mrs. NQ was finding those coins this morning. And this creek runs about 35 kilometres up through the mountains here. There's gold bearing for its entire length, so there's a lot of that fine gold through it, and there's a couple of hard rock mines in the area, and there's detectable nuggety gold on the hillside, so good place to come, have a bit of fun. We had a lot of fun today, hope you've enjoyed that. But what we'll do now, I'll just go up the hill and show you an old grave up here. It's a single old lonely grave before we head back to camp for dinner, so we'll just be back shortly and I'll show you that old gravesite up the hill. Okay, well, we're on the coach road just up from that creek crossing with that fine gold creek, and as you can see over here, on the side of the coach road is a lonely old grave. Obviously someone cared about this person, because it's got a lovely marble headstone. To the memory of William Compton, November 24th, 1830, born. Died July the 22nd, 1877. Well, what's the year of that shilling that Mrs. NQ found? Look, there's still some of the original timber framing around the actual gravesite. So, just to put this place in perspective, it's just there's an old ghost town about 2 kilometres or just over a mile from here, and there's a smaller cemetery up there. I've never actually researched this grave. I don't know why Mr. William Compton was buried here in this spot. Perhaps it was an accident on the coach road or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, it's a lovely memorial to him, because without that marble headstone, the bush had just taken that spot back. But anyway, there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that little outing we had today. We found a little bit of gold, and Mrs. NQ had a really good run. Got a lovely silver shilling and a penny, and some lovely old relics from the gold rush from the 1800s. So thanks for watching, everybody. Best of luck on your next outing. Happy hunting and happy prospecting. Bye for now.